Hello and welcome to the Rhythm Factory. I'm Eddie C, and together with my co-host Peter D, we're going to bring you in touch with people in and around the music business. This is the podcast that takes you up close and personal. Hi, my name is Eddie C, and welcome once again to the Rhythm Factory podcast. To my right, my sidekick and good friend, Mr. Peter D. And today we have a very special guest, as always, the lady in red. She's a fantastic flute player, vocalist, plays the AWE. Our guest for this afternoon is Miss Orsaya. So, Orsaya, welcome to our show.
Thank you.
What a beautiful name. Can you tell us a little bit about your name? And then I want to also ask you, coming up from I know you're coming from a ritual family of musicians, and so you've had it as, from off the little girl, with the little spoon added to you, the musical talents that you have. What I'm curious about is that do you have those same expectations for your children, and how did you experience yourself, as an artist, or as a young child growing up, with the willpower to want to become a professional artist like you have become now?
Yeah. Okay. The first question is, my name is Orsaya. It's my artist name, and my friends used to call me like this. And I have an Hungarian mother, so it's original. My name is Orsaya. It's an Hungarian name, but no one can pronounce this in Holland because the sounds are very different from the Holland sounds. So the Dutch sounds. So this is why it's how it's come Orsaya.
And you were saying, you were mentioning to me earlier that before we started the interview, that you say, because you're quite tall.
I'm tall, yes. I'm tall, yes. My mother is 160 and my father is 195. So this is why.
Okay.
And I am 179. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
A woman to look up to.
Yeah, I'm a woman.
In my case. We always do that. It's always fun, we don't rehearse anything, so
No.
that's the spontaneity we like in the show,
But you got your answer about?
I got my answer
about the expectations for your
No, the
children.
expectations. Yes, you had another question.
Yeah, because I want to know a little bit more about that as well. Of course.
Well, my mother, when I was young, she expected a lot of me because I was very gifted when I was young already. And when I was 7, I started to play piano with her because my mother is a piano teacher, so she taught me piano. And when I was 9 years old, I had to choose a second instrument, the flute.
Okay.
I could choose which instrument, only not the violin.
Because
because she didn't like to practice to hear. Her brother is a violin player.
Yeah.
And she hated to hear him practice, so this is why I couldn't choose the violin. So
I couldn't handle two violins.
But I was very angry about this subject because I really wanted to play this violin, and she didn't want me to play the violin. Okay. So she wanted me to.
You still can.
I still yes, but I do a lot of things. So I think for now it's enough. For this lifetime, I chose this kind of things I do for now.
Okay.
It's already a lot.
All right.
But then I started to choose the flute because I knew she wanted me to play the cello, and because she wanted me to play the cello and I wanted to play the violin, I thought, okay, then I'm going to choose something she didn't choose, and this was the flute. So this was. But then it started out, I was very good at it, so then I stayed with the flute. So this was.
Because you also went to study at the conservatory.
Yes.
As with the crossed flute, right?
Yes.
It's, and that was your major.
My major, yes. And my second was piano.
Second was piano.
Also voice, also singing.
Okay.
Major, not major, but next to this.
Right, but. Now you mainly play the flute, right? Or you compose on the flute, or maybe?
No, I compose my my music with piano and singing. Then I start out like this to make this
the basics.
Basics, yes.
Right. Okay.
And then I do the voice with flute for composing. So this is the new style I've created
for writing your melodies and
Yes,
and your
yes.
and you write your own lyrics as well.
Also, yes.
Okay.
My lyrics as well.
But getting back to my first question.
Yes.
About
children.
how is it with your kids? Is that the same? Do you have pretty much do you have a lot of expectations from them because you have a family tradition of musicians now, and is that
Yes.
you have to be a musician as well? Kind
no.
of no. Okay.
No, because I tell my children to do what they want to do, and but do it good.
Okay.
What you do because the profession music is too hard. It's to do if you don't feel it. You really you really have to want
takes
it.
a lot out of you. Yes,
Because
it
it's it goes a lot of money around in the business, but to make money out of it, it's a different story. So you really have to love and to have passion for this music. Yes.
And what instruments are your kids playing?
Piano.
Piano.
Yes.
Okay.
Also, yes.
But no aspirations to go further in it professionally, or
No,
is this
no.
pure hobby for them?
Yes.
Oh, that's great.
Yes.
You talk about the passion. You gotta have
Yeah.
the passion, and it's a tough business. But I also hear in your story that your mother wanted you to play the cello or the cello.
Yes, cello. Yes.
There was a lot of expectations in
Yes.
your childhood.
Yes.
What about those expectations and your passion? I mean,
Well, when I was 14 years old, I was a bit tired of everything because when you're young and you're good at something, then you placed like here, and other people think, oh, that's great, but I felt like this. It's not. So I thought perhaps I'm going to do something else. But before I could think about this, I was already in the conservatorium from Amsterdam because they thought asked me, could you play there? So I played, and then I was there. So without thinking, so I was 17.
Did those expectations sometimes interfere with your passion for the music, or?
Yeah, when I so this is an interesting question because I studied classic music, and but I always had a passion for jazz, fusion, these kind of. So if I would start out now to be young and study, then I would choose I think jazz music to study. Yes.
Okay.
But now I'm writing fusion, so it's.
All right, so you okay. You know. I know you have this. Like you say, going back to your classical background, and you've got a couple of CDs here.
Yes.
You're busy with a new CD, which is coming out in a couple of weeks or something. The cover
I've
wasn't
written
ready
a
yet.
new song. It's called No Regrets,
Okay.
and with it comes a new album with 11 tracks. And
Is that the title of the CD
yes.
as well?
No, it's Songs from the Heart.
Songs
it's
from
called,
the Heart.
yes.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So that's important for our listeners if they want to.
Songs from the Heart. Yes.
To find you and get your music. But getting back to your classical background one more time, there is I've listened to some of your music. There's a lot of Latin influence
Yes.
in there,
Yes.
and I know you're working with the very fine producer
Glenn
Gladden.
Adam, yes.
Yeah, very good musician as well, and I know his Latin. He has a lot of South American influence in his style of producing and his music. But is there a sort of way that you're going to? Because I know I've listened to the music, but what I hear is a lot of the Latin influence.
Yes.
Sometimes I miss the classical influence that you.
There's no classic influence in this music. Yes.
And I was wondering, do you plan on in the future like creating these classical roots, which are from off the moment you were put the instrument in your hand, and from your bloodline, your Hungarian classical roots. Do you plan on doing something with that in the future in your future projects? Because that must be quite unique if you can, with the flute, with the Hungarian background, and of course your Dutch background as well, to create this kind of a special sound. I don't know if you have any aspirations for that or not.
Actually, I've written a track, and it's called Peace, and it's contemporary classic music.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the 11th bonus track on my CD. So perhaps people like this one. I heard about good things about it, but I'm not planning to do classic. I really want to stay where I'm at this
Contemporary.
moment. No, and I'm this jazz fusion.
Jazz
pop,
fusion.
yes.
Yeah, well, it's more contemporary. Well, I consider it more contemporary.
Okay, yes, of course,
because
yes.
you're because of the vocal material.
vocals, yes.
The vocals kind of make it a
Close
bit
harmony.
close harmony, and kind of a more of a poppy
Sound,
poppy
yes.
generated with a Latin twist, I guess you could say. You know, so that's okay. I was curious about that because I know that you have this classical background, and I was
Yes.
wondering. I said, hey, would have been nice, but.
Yeah, but
Maybe-
I want to work on frequencies to do music at 432 hertz.
Mhm.
This is a kind of hertz, and this is a spiritual thing. And this they say, I've read about this a lot, and they say this vibe this going to your gut feeling to it brings up your gut feeling. Yes, this is what it does.
Stimulates your emotions.
So yes, so this is what I want to do, and usually I something comes to me and I start writing. So I usually don't know exactly which kind of track it's going to be. For example, my newest track, No Regrets. I thought I was going to write a dance track, but it was kind of now I think soul, R&B.
It's just
easy
it's
listening.
Nice way of
Yeah.
writing.
Yeah.
It's pretty open.
So
and,
I write what comes to me and how it comes. So
okay.
yeah,
But
I
it's
have
good.
no
That's
saying
good.
about this.
you also have focus on the new CD. You're singing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
This
So it's not only instrumental.
instrumental singing and writing music. This is my ambition and my focus, because I can do, of course, a lot of different things. And but beside this, I let myself hire in to play flute or AV or piano somewhere where this is my work.
Yeah.
And my passion is my writing.
All right.
Yeah, but you know, you're quite busy doing all kinds of projects.
Yes.
But you're also a teacher.
I'm also a music teacher.
Yeah, so I want to get into that a little bit, and we talked backstage a little bit about it, and you have a clear vision about things. You teach multiple people at the same time,
Also,
groups,
but also individual.
also individual.
Yes, of course.
Private
So and
lessons.
those are quite different things. You already told me that it's a different way of projecting your energy or
Yes.
getting the message across to a group instead of one-on-one. But being a versatile musician yourself in different styles, playing different projects or at different projects, being on stage, writing your own music, how do you incorporate those things in your teaching?
Well, if someone comes to me for lessons, the first question I ask them, what is your goal? So this is where the whole thing starts. So, and after this we decide which project to choose, and but I offer them different kind of things, because I think music is like food. If you never tried fish, you don't know if you like fish. So if you've never heard or played jazz, you don't know if you like jazz, and perhaps you think, oh, but jazz is nice in pop. Like me, I try to fusion everything. So this is how I teach people.
But getting back to, for instance, one-on-one and for a group, can you tell a bit about the differences you experience?
Yeah, I think one-on-one is even more about finding your identity and how to play, going in very deep in how to play things. And group is more general. So what is music, what is rhythm, what is singing, and how can we play harmonies like this. So this is a different kind of way to teach. And so you have to have different goals. You can't ask someone if it's in a group for example, if I have someone alone, I learn 12 pieces a year, and in a group this will be 2 pieces a year, for example.
Right.
Yeah, it's a very different goal here.
Yeah, but it's the part of playing live and your experience as a composer actually. Is that stuff that you also bring on the table for students, like how to perform or how to handle a music piece? Or
yes, I always try people to be yourself everywhere you go. I bring myself. I don't pretend to be someone else, because this is the best way to stay
Stay grounded.
grounded. Yes, I think. And I try to bring my students for example, this weekend I was asked to play on the International Women's Day in Amsterdam. And I had this group of 5 children, 8 years old, and they can play 6 pieces. So I brought them also on the stage, and this is for them also a very good experience. So these kind of things I try to to give them also this experience of experiencing the stage.
Yeah, yes. Right. We always ask our guests if they've ever been in an awkward moment during their career. Yeah, most musicians have been in a lot of awkward moments. So do you have one you'd like to share with our audience?
Yes. Well, I think one of them is nice. 2 years ago, I went to Florence to play with a singer, an opera singer, and we were as musicians and for a very wealthy family. And so first we had to play at the pool with a party. This was live. But later on the evening we went to, there was some firework and we were asked to play with 2 violins and me as a flute player to play back. Also Sprach Zarathustra, this is from Strauss. And but this is a lot of drums in it, trumpet, so everything except the violin and flute. So I was looking at him, you really think this is going to work? Yes, you have to play and it's going to be very, very good. So I thought, okay, if you want this, I'm going to stand there in front of the firework and play back this piece. But the funniest thing was afterwards, perhaps the people have drunk also a bit, so they didn't notice if it was playback or real. Okay. But they come to congratulate me with my playing. Oh, it was a great performance! What great player you are! And I was looking like, what is happening here? So, and the violin players were looking at me. What is going on here? So we were laughing about this. But the most funniest thing is we had to go afterwards to another place.
Right.
Where the party was going on, the after party. Right. And but the drum, we had a drum player who is this MIDI drum. This is different from the. This is electronic. So, but he played real because we had to play live there. And but someone ticked him on his shoulder and he was saying, it's nice you're waving with your sticks, but you're not playing for real. You're doing playback. So they didn't. But he was very angry about the subject.
Can imagine.
So this was the most awkward situation. I think was a bit funny too.
Well, we want to thank you for being on the show. Your album is called Songs from the Heart.
Yes.
Songs from the Heart, and of course, if you want to find out any other information about Orsaya, please go to our webpage. That's the Rhythm Factory podcast, a video podcast, and on Facebook. You can also write us at the Rhythm Factory Podcast at gmail.com if you have questions, want to even come on our show, sponsors if necessary, which would be nice as well. You can also find the link to Orsaya's webpage so you can get all his lovely music, and we'll leave you today with some wise words. Whatever you do with your music, let it come from the heart. Thanks, and see you next week on the Rhythm Factory Podcast. Ciao.